Today, I want to talk about the misconceptions of applying to grad school. A lot of us fall into the trap of wishful thinking. We want something to be true badly enough so we convince ourselves that it is true, or maybe that the possibility is a greater likelihood than not. And so, one of the things that I want to talk about in terms of this process is how to really get objective with it and understand what is actually going on in terms of the other side of the admissions, right? And so the first misconception that students really have when they first start applying in the application cycle is that they feel like they're going to be understood, that the whole entirety of their story, their background, their individual struggles, their personal experiences are really going to be teased out by the readers of their application, when in reality there is limited time and space. Every year, let's say a school will get anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000 applications. So if a school's getting 8,000 applications total, right? What's happening is that 8,000 is being divided up over different readers. And so they bring people from all over, from professors to staff to admin to adjacent schools, what have you, and to read your applications. And they grade you by a specific rubric. And what they're looking for is certain things that would really correlate with success in grad school. Obviously, your statistics, your grades, they matter, right? But when it comes to your story, what you think is that they're going to really read your story and really understand, step into your world and see what happened to you, and then accept you because of your challenging circumstances. Again, the reality is this is a two-dimensional process. You're giving them a snapshot of who you are, and they have to make a decision based off of that. They don't have the time, and there's not enough space on the application to really delve into all of the things that make you you. And so it's going to be important when it comes down to how to convey yourself in the best way possible. The second misconception that you'll have is that the process is holistic. Yes, the process is holistic. They're looking at multiple different parts of you as an individual, from your work experience, your extracurriculars, your grades, the courses that you take, the school that you went to. A lot of those things are important. So they do look at all these different factors when evaluating you. But I argue that they are looking for a more holistic class and not just evaluating you as an applicant. So they want athletes here, right? So they want people from sports who have the experience, the camaraderie, the team building, all of that. They want people maybe from the hard sciences. They want even people from the arts, right? They're looking to make their entire class holistic, to really represent a broad array of experiences and backgrounds, right? And so maybe that's not ethnic backgrounds because of Senate Bill 83, but they definitely are looking for a class that is comprised of many different experiences, so that way that they can take that wealth of knowledge and essentially add it to the profession. So while the process is holistic, I want you to think it's more holistic for the class than it is for any one individual. So a lot of students might apply, and one year somebody goes like, well, I had low stats, but maybe I was an art major and I still got in. I have no idea. Well, yeah, that year they needed art majors, and were willing to concede and allow somebody in with that background so they can be representative of that field and those experiences. Another might be the states that people came from. I saw one grad school show all of the different people, and all of the students came from every state in the U.S. except Wisconsin. And so anybody who probably applied from Wisconsin and who gave was close enough in the application, they might have taken them that year to say, look, we have a student from every single one of the states of the U.S., right? So that, again, might be misleading when you hear a Reddit post and say, hey, I got in and I had lower stats than everybody else. Well, there may have been another reason. You're making the class holistic because there's a deficiency of something that you have that they need. Again, that does not mean that because you have those things, you'll get in automatically. What that means is in that specific year, they were short on maybe this many arts majors, and so they took you that year, right? So again, you're really dealing with a black box on the other side. You don't really know how much of a chance that you stand. By all means, I'm not discouraging people from applying. By all means, apply, right? But recognize there are many different variables and factors that allow people to be admitted besides the standard. The third misconception is that you're a unique applicant. Nothing new has happened under the sun. You've heard that expression, nothing new under the sun. The reality is if you've had adversity, other people have had adversity just like yours. I challenge you to pick up books on, 55 essays that got into grad school, or 55 essays that got into Harvard, whatever it is, and read those stories, and you'll realize that a lot of people had very, very similar experiences to you, whether that's athletics, whether that's adverse circumstances, whether that's socioeconomic difficulties, whatever it is, you'll see that your story has kind of already been played out in a different form. No applicant is exactly the same. Everybody is unique. But when you have 8,000 plus unique applicants, there's got to be a way for the school to really determine and evaluate and be objective in assessing different applicants. And so the idea that you're unique and somehow they're going to look at your story and be like, wow, this is the person that we want, this is phenomenal. Yeah, there are going to be cases that have maybe, let's say you won the Rhodes Scholarship, or you had a prestigious, or maybe you won national championship in your sport, whatever, right? Those are things that are going to stick out. And we're going to talk a little bit later about how to stick out into the applicant reader's mind in a different video. Here, the last misconception is that they're going to step into your world, not the other way around. Like I said, this is a battle for their mind. What does that mean? It means there are so many applicants each trying to push their narrative. It's very hard for the brain to really latch on or stick to or really pick up on one unless there's something, unless it's presented in a way that really, really grabs your attention, right? So the other thing that I want to make clear too is a lot of this is an element of chance. What do I mean by that? You think that they're going to step in your world and try to, psychologically understand what makes you you and what makes you awesome and all of these things. The reality is that's wishful thinking again. The reality is they're going to filter you by their own experiences. If you were an athlete and they were an athlete, they're going to be able to step into your shoes better. That's just human nature. And the reality is this application process is bound to that way of thinking. And so if you had a adverse background and somebody with an adverse background reads it, they're going to be like, wow, this person came from such a struggle. I remember going through that similar struggle, right? So again, you're being filtered through the lens of the reader, and that reader may or may not resonate with you. If they resonate with you, great. If they don't, then it becomes an added barrier. And so we're going to talk about ways to really come across in your application to try to essentially resonate with the reader on the other side of the process of admissions.